Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I just saw the season 7 finale of Arrow. So, how did this season hold up? I just saw the season 7 finale to Arrow, and I must say it did not disappoint me as much as I thought it was going to disappoint me. And before I continue, feel free to let me know your thoughts about the season 7 finale and just overall season 7 in general. Season 7 overall I thought was a big step up from season 6, which in my opinion was like the worst season was season 4. I don't like those two seasons, and I was really disappointed with season 6, especially as a follow-up to season 5. Season 7 opened up in a very interesting place. We got to see Oliver Queen in prison. The first half of the season deals with his identity being revealed and him being in prison. Ricardo Diaz on the loose, but they added some future visions. That's right, like the flashbacks in the first 5 seasons, we have visions that go 20 years into the future. We get to see William older, we get to see Roy. And then we're introduced to Mia, who's pretty much the daughter of Felicity and Oliver Queen. Yes, Mia, after Speedy from the comics. Overall, I really liked the beginning of the season. Sure, Ricardo Diaz was a bit of a drag. I thought the longbow hunters were a bit overrated. I didn't like how they looked here. But that being said, I did like the threat. I did like the pacing of the first season. It was so interesting seeing Oliver in prison where he put most of the inmates. It was like Batman Arkham Asylum in that regard. Or like the Supermax film that was never made for Green Arrow. I love seeing Bronze Tiger. Michael J. White did a fantastic job this season as that character. I love seeing a couple of other familiar faces. Stanley was creepy. That guy deserved to be a villain for a whole season. He really did. Meanwhile, we get to see Dinah as the police chief now that Quentin is gone. Laurel, Earth 2 Laurel, is trying to be good like Earth 1 Laurel, try to be a district attorney, and Felicity and William are into hiding. And yes, Ricardo Diaz does find them. And it's kind of frustrating at times, but I like the threat there. I love the momentum the first half of the season has. Leading up to that ultimate fight in episode 9, I love that prison fight. It was really great seeing Bronze Tiger and Oliver Queen work together, seeing Talia al Ghul there. And I love the future stuff, seeing this kind of dystopian Star City. You know, it kind of had very much a Bambion vibe. Seeing Renee as mayor and almost be a villain in many ways. Seeing his daughter with Dinah with the Canaries and learning about all this stuff that we have not seen in between the seasons. Overall, I thought the first half of the season was terrific, and then Oliver gets out. And it becomes very interesting because now we have a Green Arrow who's deputized. He works for Star City Police Department, and he doesn't have his mask. Everybody knows his identity. He has a face, so it's very different in that regard. Seeing Team Arrow work together. We also have a copycat Arrow out, and we're introduced to Emiko Queen. That's right, Emiko Queen is a character from the New 52 comics. You find out his father had an affair, and he has an illegitimate sister. What adds to it is to introduce this character named Dante from the Ninth Circle. Yes, Dante is Adrian Paul, Duncan MacLeod, the Highlander. There can be only one. I thought his character was great, such a great build-up with Argus. Overall, it felt like he was going to be the main villain, but then we end up having Emiko as the main villain. I kind of didn't like that because it wasn't what was set up originally. They're going with Dante, and then all of a sudden Dante's afraid of Emiko, and she's like the leader of the Ninth Circle. It just felt forced. It felt out of nowhere. And they did have a bit of a break in the second half. Part of that might be because Stephen Amell decided to leave the show, or they're writing him off. But whatever they decided, I could kind of tell that they were kind of switching gears. And during the second half of the season, it was announced that season 8 would be the final season and be a shortened 10-episode season. So that was very interesting. We also had the crossover setting up Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, him and Flash switch bodies. I thought it was kind of a filler crossover, but it set up a lot of stuff for the later half of this season and probably for next year. That being said, I thought it was a brilliant twist to find out that Emiko was the one that caused the bombs to explode on the Queen's Gambit, caused him to basically get shipwrecked, his dad dying. It led him on a course to become the Green Arrow, and that was a very interesting thing. I wish Oliver still was like that kind of like hardened, kind of vigilante badass killer, but they did kind of deal with him trying to be a better person, have redemption, and I like that. But at the same time, I get kind of frustrated where it's like, don't kill Oliver, you don't want to kill. And I'm like, just take Emiko out. You don't even have to kill her, just incapacitate her, shoot her in the leg or something. She was a villain, much like Ricardo Diaz, that would like confront them and then just like run away, and that was frustrating. But I did like what she did to Diaz. That guy burned, and that was so satisfying. And she definitely had a more threatening presence in the second half. Overall, it was about him stopping his sister, finding out the truth about what happened, and them trying to stop this virus from being unleashed. At first, I thought it was going to tie back to the League of Assassins, League of Shadows from Season 3, because of the whole virus thing, but I was surprised. They also managed to focus more on the original Team Arrow, and it was interesting seeing Dinah and Renee kind of confront Oliver. Everybody kind of had a dark side in this. It was so great seeing Colton Haynes return as Roy, both in the future and past. That future Star City 2040 episode was probably one of the best episodes of the season. Mia is such a badass. She takes after her dad. It's kind of like an amalgam between Green Arrow and the Black Canary from the comic books. Overall, the finale I thought was exciting. You know, the penultimate episode before was kind of a filler with like the Ghost of Christmas Past with Tommy. And this one really took it in a new direction. I love the parallels, especially when the bomb blew up in the building and like Oliver had to escape and Mia had to escape, and like the past and future were like parallel to each other. That was so great. And such an emotional ending. You know, Emiko, he didn't kill Emiko, but Emiko still died. And he has to go into hiding like we saw earlier in the season. Nisa training Mia, and the Monitor returns and wants him to come back. You find out he dies. Or he may be alive. Who knows? It's kind of ambiguous at the end, even though I think he died in the Crisis. They're definitely going to go Avengers Endgame with the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover on CW. It's episode 9 out of 10, so who knows what's going to happen. Overall, it was an emotional, intense conclusion to this season. And I have to say, overall, that this season's better than season 6. So I would give it a 7 out of 10 and a B+. It's not the worst season. The reason why I have it ranked a little bit lower is because at times it didn't feel like the writers knew what they were doing, you know? Like they kind of had something going. The first half had a certain trajectory that was really, really done well. It had a certain momentum, like I said, but the second half, it's almost like they didn't know what to do. Like they didn't know which direction to take it in or what to do with their characters. I'm like, what are they trying to do here? What are they going for? You couldn't really tell. I felt like some of the future stuff was written better than the present day stuff. And the characters' motivations were never consistent the way they acted. It definitely had a lot of the flaws from season 6 still with the writers. And I thought with like one male writer and all female writers it was going to be better. But it seems like these writers were the ones creating a lot of problems last year. But that being said, it was enjoyable, and it may not be up there with season 2 or 5, but it definitely is no season 4 or 6. So I was satisfied with this season of Arrow. He has saved this city. If anything, Star City has failed Oliver Queen. But I love some of the filler stuff. It did get a little bit slow towards the second half with the Canary episode and other things like that that were very much a filler episode. But I loved it for what it was. It surprised me, to say the least. And yeah, we're going to have to see how it all ends, how it concludes. Anyway, those are my review and thoughts of Arrow Season 7. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Feel free to let me know what you think of Season 7. What are some of your favorite seasons? And remember to follow me on the Stardust app at Fred Film Fanatic. Check out these videos on my channel. Till next time, be on the lookout for my other channel where I'm going to have each season of Arrow ranked.